What's up, guys? Wanted to do a video covering a long-term review of my Xbox Elite Series 2 controller. Got it about a year ago when it came out, did an unboxing back in November of 2019, pre-COVID, that used to be a thing. But wanted to go over what my long-term experience with this controller has been. Obviously, as we know, SCUF, first Elite controller from Xbox, were both highly successful, sell really well, still, the features ultimately with the paddles and the joysticks and the trigger locks clearly are something that people are on board with, and they think it's a good idea. However, the question is, and the question with the first Elite controller was, how's the durability? What is the quality of the product over the long term? A lot of people had trouble with that first Elite controller, breaking down here on the side pads. I don't know if it's the oil or the sweat in people's hands breaking it down, whatever it was. So when the Elite Series 2 controller came out, people were obviously skeptical to run out and spend more on a newer version of the controller that ultimately resulted in the same level of quality. So wanted to cover my experience with the controller over the last 11 or so months and let you guys know if it's worth the money at this point in 2020. Let's check it out. Alright, so really with the new Series 2 controller, I'm going to cover two parts today. I'm going to cover the quality, that's what I'm going to talk about during most of this video and throughout the whole first part, as well as the features, how maybe some of those quality of life improvements might be worth it. At the end, I'll summarize, is it worth purchasing today in 2020? Let you guys know if it's worth your money. So here we've got the Elite Series 1 controller, Elite Series 2 controller here in my other hand. Similar in a lot of ways, size, shape, really some of the added features are really the only differences between the two. So you can tell that they did go hone in and tweak a lot of the components to try and upgrade the quality. Pulling out my Series 1 controller today for the first time in a long time, I actually did notice that there is quite a bit of wear and breakdown on the rubber grips here on the back side, which is where a lot of people had trouble. Now, I was lucky. I didn't have the whole peeling off where this entire rubber part came totally off the controller. So I count myself kind of lucky in that sense that I didn't have that issue with the first Xbox Elite controller, but I can definitely tell now, having used this Elite Series 2 controller for most of the year, that there definitely is a difference in production quality when it comes to this outer wrap of the controller itself. Another issue I had with the Series 1 controller was the USB port here on the top. It was plugged in, I dropped it, my dog tripped on it, whatever happened, and ultimately ended up breaking this charging port. It doesn't work anymore. So that was a real bummer for the Series 1 controller. So a couple of the major quality improvements that I noticed with the Series 2 controller is that the grip on the handles still has the same level of grit and grip and texture to it as when I first opened it. I've used it for an entire year, hundreds of hours of gaming on my Xbox One X, and no issues so far with the breakdown of the outer cover of the controller. So I would say, at least in my experience, Xbox went back to the drawing board and came together with a new material and a new way to wrap this that seems to be working a lot better than the original Series controller. The other issue that I had with this first Series controller was actually the bumpers ended up breaking. So there is a piece of plastic that runs along the whole top of this controller here, and ultimately two little pieces of plastic bend in and depress the button indicators when you push this. It's one piece of connected plastic, and so if you can crack it ultimately here or here on the controller and cause yourself some issues. I haven't popped this controller open. I'm not sure if they use the exact same setup. You'll have to see if there's another video where somebody opens their controller up. I think there is a few others out there, but it feels like a better button to press. It definitely feels like it's higher quality, better make and feel. It just seems to work a little bit better. So the main quality, issues that I heard about with the Series 1 controller don't seem to be there here with the Series 2 controller. So I'm really impressed. Again, I've used this controller for almost a year. It's coming up, in November of 2020, it'll be a year of using this controller. And honestly, I don't think I'll switch anytime soon. This has been an awesome controller. From a quality perspective, it's been awesome. So to recap, As far as the quality goes, I would give it an 8 out of 10. Now, it's not perfect. I do feel like the joysticks will get loose over time. Luckily, you can tighten them to kind of counteract that dead zone a little bit, but you know, nobody's made a perfect controller yet that's going to last forever, and that's okay. But for this price point, I feel like I'm going to get a good, like I said, a good 3 to 5 years out of this controller, which is awesome. Obviously, to go above and beyond, there's room for improvement. The other thing to talk about, obviously, is the features. Comparing to the Series 1 controller, a lot of the features are the same. They both have the, you know, the paddles section on the back of the controller there, four paddle slots. I only use 2. It has the replaceable, you know, joysticks, so you can put, you know, if you'd like a shorter joystick on your aiming stick, you can put that on there. Or if you can do, you know, like FPS freaks, you can put the longer joystick there on your aiming stick and improve hopefully your capabilities and your aiming a little bit. So a lot of those features are the same. The trigger locks are the same. Shorten that press time between shots. Again, a quality of life improvement. And the multiple profiles here in the middle. It was a switch on the original controller here, and it's a button on this one, but you can program, you know, multiple button layouts for your paddles. You can map any button anywhere you want, so to have those programmable profiles is really awesome. In addition to those programmable profiles, you can actually carry those wherever you go. So I have a USB-C plugged into my computer right here, so Fall Guys want to jump on and play a game, I just pick up my controller, plug it right into my PC, I'm able to play Fall Guys, and I'm able to go in the Xbox and pre-program maybe some settings that make sense. So Halo MCC came out on PC this year, so I was able to build a couple of pre-programmed sets on the controller on my Xbox, take it over to PC, and get that seamless experience on the PC version of Master Chief Collection and play how I wanted to. So, to highlight the main features that are different on this one, the Series 2 controller, is that there are 3 programmable profiles now that you can carry on the controller itself, available via this button push, so that's an additional profile, program another game type or something in there. The trigger locks also, instead of just having 2 on and off kind of settings, there's actually a middle and a tighter setting, so you've got, you know, your normal depress, your middle, and then your really tight one. So added an additional trigger lock there. In addition to having the swappable pieces on here, you can actually take a little key to the controller there on the joystick and tighten up the joystick. So if you like, you know, have a little bit tighter joystick when you're aiming, you can do that as well on this controller. They did switch from micro USB to USB-C for this controller, so I appreciated that. And the main selling point for me, and one thing that I really enjoyed as a feature on this headset, is this little charging stand right here. So you have this plugged into your USB-C link with the cable plugged into the wall or to your console, and then you can just drop your controller right on there like that, and it charges via the pins on the back there to charge the internal battery. So I haven't had any issues with battery life at all throughout the course of the controller. I've been a big fan of the play and charge kits for the 360 and the Xbox One previous to this, and this is just the next iteration of that. I have this just plugged in right here on my desk, right under my monitor, and can just set my controller on it, and you're good to go. It charges it every time I pick it up and play. It's ready to go with a full charge. For some reason, I did need to charge while playing. I can just unplug that base, as you saw, plug it right into the USB-C cord that's there, and charge while I'm playing. But ultimately, because it's always charged, I haven't had an issue with needing to recharge this while playing. The battery life has been excellent. They've really put an awesome lithium-ion battery, internal battery in here. I haven't had any issues. So to summarize the features, I would give it a 9 out of 10. You know, there may be a few things that I'd like to add. I'd love to have more onboard profiles for the button layout, especially knowing that you can take this right to a tournament or plug it into your PC and use those profiles, but if you find that you're missing something, you have to go back to your Xbox, plug it in, and program those presets. So a little bit of expansion of that function there. But overall, it's been great. I've also been using it for Bluetooth to my phone to use Xbox xCloud, and game streaming. So it's been actually pretty awesome. I've been on my phone, in bed, playing Madden, hanging out with my wife, which has been awesome. It's a bit So with this controller being Bluetooth, and also, honestly, all the new Xbox One controllers are Bluetooth as well, but again, another little added feature that means that this controller is able to just kind of plug and play and use anywhere. So the features, I'll probably give it a 9 out of 10. It's almost perfect. You know, there's a few small tweaks maybe I would make with the next iteration, but honestly, really great controller. So to recap, we got an 8 out of 10 on the quality, a 9 out of 10 on the features. I couldn't think of any other categories to really cover for this. That brings us to the final score. You see the average there on the screen. Really great controller. I've been really happy with it. Like I said, I had it for about a year and don't see myself buying another controller in the near future because of that. So pretty awesome. Check it out if you don't have one. That was really the two main features I wanted to cover, was the quality and the feature set of the Series 2 controller, how that differed from the Series 1 and what my experience has been. In my opinion, the quality of life improvements and everything that is in this controller, if you don't own something like a SCUF or an original Xbox Elite controller and you're looking to upgrade your setup maybe this Christmas, I would recommend picking up the Series 2 controller. I think it's definitely worth the added features. If you're just using a regular Xbox controller today, get on the Elite controller and it'll definitely upgrade your game and your reaction time and all the extra button presses and the extra, sensitivity and the trigger locks. Everything that it comes with improves your game, but there's also those little quality of life improvements like having the charging station make it, above and beyond for me. Seamless experience. I love using this controller. Now, if you have the original Series 1 controller or a SCUF, something similar, the feature jump's not that great. You already are using paddles. You have a lot of the benefits of having the Elite controller already. Now, the main question is, are the quality of life updates and the improvements worth the extra money if you already have an Elite controller? Obviously, the original Elite controller is aging, so I'm guessing you probably have some loose joysticks and some things like that. And at this point in time, 2020, I would definitely recommend picking it up. I have found the experience, even though I love my first Elite controller, even better with this one. Little bit of quality improvements, not worried about it breaking down anytime soon. For the premium price point, that certainly makes sense. Honestly, I probably will use this controller with the Series X and forward for the next 3-5 years, at least, hopefully, before I have to look at replacing it, and then maybe it'll be the Series 3. Who knows where they'll go. But I really love the controller. I think it's been awesome. Highly recommend picking it up. Amazon link is down in the description if you guys wanted to snag one today. All right, so that's my review of the Elite Series 2 controller. Thank you guys for stopping by. Again, I would definitely recommend picking it up. Just as a reminder, I do stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on Twitch. Come check that out. Link it down in the description below if you want to ask me any questions about the Elite controller or any of my other videos here on my channel. Stop by and do so. Happy to answer those live on stream as well. Anyway, that's it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll check you guys in the next one.